Of course I did. You need to go back. He talked about liberals. He didn't say nothing about a political party, Dominic. You need to go back.
Democrats. Those people were Democrats. Those were not liberal Republicans. Those was not liberal Republicans.
Of course they were, dude. In 1955,
1955. This was after the assassination of Kennedy, but before the assassination of King. That would put it possibly in 1964.
Sworn liberal Republicans. Those are liberal Republicans.
I got. No, we've been on and off. I've been tinkering with it, so I'll let you guys know when we're solid.
When you say what you're saying, and that's what makes you bullshit. But he was
bullshit.
What
makes me bullshit?
You don't know your political history. The people that he was talking about in that clip were liberal Republicans. Malcolm X is a northern son. He did his work in Oklahoma, Harlem, and Wisconsin. Those are northern cities. Dude, he ran into liberal white folks that thought that they was doing good. He did not attack the South, even though he knew the South was bullshit. He attacked the North because black folks started to get comfortable with white liberals. But he couldn't stand either one of them.
But so wait a minute. How does that make me misrepresent his words when all I did was push play? You know, this is some bullshit. You think that you own Malcolm X because you're darker than me or some shit? That's bullshit.
No, I don't own him, but I represent what he fucking.
You don't.
All right, here we go.
You represent you. You don't represent shit. Where was you? Where was you when I was in the army? Where was you? You was at home. You don't represent shit.
All right, guys. All right, man. We're about ready to start here. Hold on. Give me a start here. Otherwise, I'm gonna shut you both down in a second here. Give me a start. I'm gonna get a start going right here.
You're full of shit.
Okay, let me see. You want?
Say what he is overall. Don't pick and choose for your fucking silly ass.
Shut the fuck up. Oh, shut the fuck up.
Okay, here, hold on.
Dude, fuck you. You're picking and choosing little parts.
Hey,
of
Dell.
Do who you are. That's what you're doing, motherfucker.
Dell.
You're wrong.
Dell.
No, you're wrong.
Hey.
He was right. You're wrong, and he was.
Hey, I'm gonna cut them both off. Oh yeah, baby. This is gonna turn into World War III. Okay, hey, guys.
Send out to your coat that I sent you, that I posted the other day, his best speech, his biggest speech of overall, and then play that to these fucking wolves.
Hey man, look, you post that shit. Don't tell me what I should post. If you feel that strongly about it, you should have been posting that shit before me.
Fuck you.
All right, stop it now. Both of you. Can you both hear me?
Yes.
Dell, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, you guys got to listen when I tell you guys to back down and be quiet for a moment. You both got to listen to me, otherwise I'm going to hit the goddamn mute button.
Well, you better put your finger on the motherfucker with me right
Okay,
now.
well, hold on. You know, you got to... Hey, stop it now, because I got to hit the start of the show. So be quiet. Be quiet. I got to hit the start of the show, okay? Bring you guys on, we'll jump into it. All right, here we go. All right, man, I am telling you, this stuff is going to be absolutely lit up here in a second. All right, let me see here. All right, let me see here. All right. Well, you know what that means. That means it's time. It's time for the Jesse T Show on a Thursday, you just got a little piece of the action right there before the show, the prelude to the show, the book signing of the show. You just got right there. Yeah, we're going to have a great one today. We're going to be lighting up some fuses, lighting up some dynamite, baby. That's right. Only here on Thursday. It's time for the real stories. That's what we talk about here on Thursday. Bringing on two great guests who are going to be at it today. I'm going to be the referee. It's going to be like a WWE wrestling match, or it might be like Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali banging it out in the middle of, we're talking about the Thriller in Manila, baby. Well, it's going to be happening right here in just a second. So I just want to bring everybody up here on Facebook.com/Jesse Torero. We had to do it a little bit of a roundabout way, only because our engineer had a little family emergency. Well, actually himself, he had to run off to the doctors, called me at the last minute, so we wish Lee the best of luck there, and we'll be checking in with him after the show. So, I had to get back and hook this thing up a little bit differently, but hey, it's all right. You can see the characters. We got the guys here in a second. Thanks a lot. Facebook.com/Jesse Torero. Instagram Live at Jesse Torero. YouTube channel, Jesse Torero. Let's tune it up right now and get it going. It's time for the real stories on the Jesse T Show. Bringing on Dominque D. Craig. What's happening, baby? What's happening?
What's going on?
Boy, I tell you, we are ready to light it up today. I mean, it is like, I know what the fireworks are going to be like today. You guys are going to go at it. Now, bringing on Dell. Hey, baby, what's up, Dell?
You better have your big boy pants on today for DB, because I'm going hard in the paint on all of y'all that want to say some craziness.
And you're going to get shot blocked.
Whatever, motherfucker.
All right, well, we're on live. We're rocking it. We're kicking it now. We're going to jump into the topic we were talking about right there, because there's a lot of controversy, a couple different points of view and opinions here about Malcolm X and what he was actually about, and trying to reflect it to this year, 2018. And so we're going to jump into that right now. Now, if you guys don't remember who Malcolm X was, for those of them that might be too young or may not follow that history, Malcolm X was a person of the 1960s, late 1950s, who was part of the civil rights movement, but he was more of the militant, more of the in-your-face, more of the you've got to do it this way, more of the anti-establishment part of the civil rights movement, where Martin Luther King Jr. was more of the passive, the church-going, the subdued portion of the civil rights movement. Of course, John F. Kennedy was in there, and Bobby Kennedy were in there as well too. So Malcolm X was assassinated, as well as all the people I just mentioned. So we're hearkening back to a time, because Malcolm X becomes very relevant today in terms of our violent society and the hate mongering and the race baiting and all this stuff between all of the races. And but primarily within the African American and black community, there's a lot of dissension going on because of the walk-away movement. A lot of people are leaving the Democratic Party and finally realizing, in my opinion, and you guys know, in my opinion, the Democratic Party hasn't done anything for African Americans or black Americans, as well as Latinos or anybody. They're just greedy rat bastards. Now, the Republican Party has always been the party of those people. I mean, of course, Abraham Lincoln and the Emancipation Proclamation and all that stuff. But hey, time has changed things, and the ebbs and tides happen. So we're going to bring on Dell. We're going to bring on D. Craig, and we're going to talk a little bit about Malcolm X. Now, D. Craig, you posted up something earlier today and a couple other times about Malcolm X. Now you posted that up knowing it would probably light some fires in some people. But tell me what your idea was about posting that up, and what your intent was in terms of where your mind was with that.
Okay, that was not the first time that I posted this clip. This is a clip of Malcolm X describing why he doesn't like liberals. And I'm not going to put words in his mouth. I'm not going to paraphrase, and I'm not going to interpret what he said. I did not edit the clip. I did not add to or subtract from the clip. I just uploaded the clip. Now, the part, I had no idea that this would lead to this level of controversy. You have no idea. My page is completely blown up over this. And it's largely because of the reaction of my best friend in the whole wide world, and that's no joke, other than my wife and my kids, would be Dale. He's my best friend. But because of his reaction, this whole thing has exploded. It's been going on for days. I expect it to keep going on. He is mad because I posted Malcolm X was the original walk away. And the reason that I posted that was because in that video, when Malcolm X talked about liberals, everything that he said was absolutely, positively, today true of the liberals today. And I thought it was relevant. Del, I'm going to let him say his. But I would like to point out that at no time did I disrespect Malcolm. At no time did I misrepresent anything that he said. I did not add to, subtract from, nor interpret any of his words. And that based on that, these attacks are entirely misplaced.
Okay, so now before we go to Dell and we get some response and some conversation going here, I'd like to play this Malcolm X clip. I know it was 13 minutes long. I'm not going to play 13 minutes of it, but I think there was also a 5-minute clip as well. Which one did you post up? I saw them both, but which one is the one that we're alluding to? The 13-minute clip or 15-minute clip or the 5-minute clip?
The 5-minute clip.
All right, so let me post that up right now. I want the folks to see what we're talking about here. I'm on your Facebook timeline page right now, so it's somewhere in there, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
I post a lot.
Okay, so you post a lot, so it's gonna be down a little bit farther. Okay, hey, Dale, give me your point of view on this while I search for the clip. Okay.
Thank you, Jess, for the opportunity to talk about this. Is what Mr. Craig is talking about that I said is an insult. Once again, he's misrepresenting of what I was talking about. The clip that you're talking about is a 5-minute clip that is a smaller portion of the overall clip that was based, I think, in I want to say 1959, but it could be a little bit later than that. And the clip itself is way longer. And the gentleman that's the interviewer on that particular show is a white liberal. He's a white liberal. And what he was trying to challenge Malcolm X about was his hatred or his distrust of all white people. And because he was a white liberal, that's the direction that the interview went into. So what he was trying to do was say, look, are you saying that no white people are good? Are you saying that even liberals, white people, are no good? And so Malcolm X responded to the direct question that this pompous-ass white man was saying to him in 1960 or 1961 or whatever time frame that was. And what Malcolm X was saying, what he said was, no white liberal is good. None of them is good. Challenging his perspective of what white people thought that they were. And he used metaphors in there, and I'm going to wait for you to find that clip, Jess, so you can read it back before I say exactly what Mr. Malcolm X said, because he's a brilliant man. And he was responding to a direct question from a direct point of what he was saying, not his overall view of philosophy of what he thought and what he taught. And to you, what I was pissed off about, and what a bunch of people that me and Dominique both know that hit me up and was pissed off about, is that how dare you take a small portion of what Malcolm X said and then try to make that a doctrine for whatever your particular agenda is. My brother Dominic is on this crusade against white liberals and white liberals only. He doesn't talk about conservative liberals. I'm sorry, conservative white folks. He doesn't talk about white people overall. He's on a quest for hating white liberals. He frames it in a direction that because we have allied up with them as black folks, that we like them, or we trust them, or we are their friends. And what I've been saying to him from day one is that no black person thinks that. No black person thinks that white liberals are their friends. No black person thinks that we should trust him. That's not what the deal is. So for you in 2018 to become suddenly aware of something that we've known since Malcolm X said it.
All right, so listen.
It's not a secret. We know this. We learned this the first day in black school. It's a disingenuous way to present a brilliant man and his philosophy that was overall. And that's what I'm saying.
Hey, D. Craig, can you send me that clip again because I can't find it? Are you able to do that?
Okay, you know what? I'm not. But I'm not going to add to his words. I'm just going to say that what you just witnessed, Del Byrd just interpreted. He just interpreted the words for you. He told you what he said. He told you what he meant.
I didn't say any of that.
Right. No, right. The same things that he's accusing me of doing. All I did was upload a video and push play. That's all I did. How can I misrepresent you by playing a video of you?
Well, let me tell you what I got from that clip. I'll tell you what I got.
You can take me saying shit.
Let me tell you what I got.
And not say any of the content about the word shit. And then you think that my wife is shit. It's a misrepresentation of men.
Not only is this excessive, but this is offensive and this is completely unnecessary. The fact of the matter is that you had an emotional reaction. You got triggered. And there was no reason for it.
Excuse me, don't tell me that it was no reason for me to feel what the fuck I feel. Now, wait a minute, stop.
Who were you disagreeing with? Him or me? All I did was upload a video and push play. I did not edit it. I did not add to or subtract from his words. I did not interpret his words. I just uploaded a video of the man. How can that be a misrepresentation of the man?
Now, this is what I got from this. Hold on a second, fellas. Hold on a second now. This is what I got from the video. I'm obviously not an African American. I'm not a black man, obviously. So let me tell you what I got. Let me tell you what I got from the video. And I saw the 13-minute one, the longer version of it, of that particular run, and the shorter version of it. And gosh darn it, I'm looking for it really hard to find at least the short version to play for the audience, just so they can kind of participate and get that assessment. And I'm having a hard time finding it. But nevertheless, this is what I got. I got from that video that Malcolm X, okay, who I have studied too, all right? But I've gotten from that video, in that particular interview, that what he was saying that white liberals think that they're helping black Americans of that time, but they're misconstrued or misled by the power brokers and being used because they really aren't helping black Americans at that time. And they really aren't, even though they think they may, they don't even know that they're not. And how they're helping is not being constructive to the idea of what Malcolm X felt was the proper way to fight in the civil rights era of that time. Now that's what I got from it. So almost a pitting and saying that, well, just because you're fighting on our behalf, you're not really fighting on our behalf. You need to hire or teach or educate a black man or a black woman of that time to fight for us because they understand the plight that we've been through in this journey. Now that's what I got from that video.
That's correct.
So in saying that, you know, when you start looking at Malcolm X, he was the radical of his timeline. Okay? And when you look at Malcolm X, he scared the American public to death. Okay? Now the reason why Martin Luther King was accepted by the more powers, the greater society, is because he didn't come with an attitude of revolution. And even though Malcolm X really never talked about picking up arms and fighting, the Black Panthers did, but even though Malcolm X didn't, they scared him because he was an intelligent, educated man who understood a part of the civil rights movement that was not being addressed properly at the time during his lifetime. That's what scared America.
That's not what scared America. And when you say America, you're talking about white America.
Well, yeah, of course.
And let me go back and clean up some of the stuff that I said here for my good and great friend Dominque Craig here. Is my point, and I want him to understand my point because I think he's missing the point. Is Malcolm X was a black nationalist. What he believed was all white folks were the devil. Not just liberal white folks, but conservative white folks as well. And he spoke on that extensively. It has nothing to do with a political party. Malcolm X himself was not a Republican or a Democrat. He didn't endorse either one of them. He saw all white men as the devil. And in his philosophy, he wanted us to separate from white America. He wanted us to have our own nation inside of America. First, he actually wanted us to go back to Africa, but before that happens, he wanted us to have our own nation inside of that. And so, if you are a person, and this is my beef with my brother here, if you are a person that, from what he's doing, what my brother is doing, he's trying to enlighten black folks that white liberals are not your friend. And what I've been trying to say to him from day one, bruh, we know that already.
No, wait a minute. Do you understand how condescending that is?
Well, let me say this. Let me say this right now. That has got to be one of the most racist things I've heard. Because look you're pitting one ethnic group against another right now. You're basically saying right now is that because black people hate white people, that Malcolm X said we should leave the country, we should kill them all. And we should revolt against them. That we don't trust them. How can you not have a nation when you have a group of people within the nation that frankly think that the nation wants to kill every single last one of them? And that's a lie.
Let me say this again. This is what he believed. This was his doctrine. It's out there. Anybody can see this for themselves. This is what he believed. I'm not making this up. He was a black nationalist. He wanted to separate races. That's what he believed in. I'm not saying that I believe in that. I'm saying that that's what he believed in.
But that's part of the problem today. We're looking at 2018, is that many black Americans, black families, young, youthful, black, energetic people that are intelligent and smart, but they've fallen into the trap of this nationalist, socialist, communist idea, whatever you want to call it, that they have to revolt and fight and destroy to get what they want. And that's not the truth.
Well, I'm going to go back to what I have to say real quick because I got cut off, and then I'm going to let my buddy talk here. But what I'm saying is this. Having many conversations with my boy here is he has a problem with white liberals. if the liberals, you come on, Dominic, you do. You post it everywhere there. You have a problem with liberals, and I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that you do. And everything that you post there is about liberals. Everything is a dislike of liberals, white liberals, I would assume. Everything is there. Now, I'm not disagreeing with your synopsis. What I'm saying to you, number one, is that this is something that we've known for a long motherfucking time. Number two is, if you're trying to make your point about white liberals, make your point about white liberals. Because that's what all your memes are about. About, they're the devil or whatever the case may be. But when you make that point, you have to make it overall about what you're talking about. And that's my point.
Is that the point you're trying to make, Dominic?
You know what? This is the type of thing that you have to be very careful when you're dealing with. When you're talking to somebody and they start building straw men and trying to make you defend positions that are not your positions right now. Now, you want me to defend all this craziness? Okay, listen, I will admit that I call liberals out on their BS. I call Democrats out on their BS.
There we go.
Now, the rest of that stuff, I'm not going to bite. I'm not going to take debate. That's not even what we were talking about.
It's not even a matter about taking debate, Dominic. What I'm saying to you is that you, and correct me if I'm wrong, and you can put your own position up here. I don't care. I'd rather for you to say it out of your mouth rather than me to interpret what you're trying to do. And to me, as your best friend, you have been on this bench for about a year trying to tell black folks not to trust white liberals. That they're not your friends. I'm not saying that that's what you think, Dominic. I'm saying as your boy, that's what I'm getting from what you're saying. Now, if you need to clear it up, here's your opportunity to clear up what you're saying about with liberals.
Okay, all right, see, he did it again. This is what the liberals do.
What are you talking about? I just asked you a question.
First they take charge of the narrative, then they want to change the subject. Everybody knows. Everybody knows I put videos out. I put videos out all the time. I put them out all the time. I don't need this show or this as a platform to say what I have to say. My walkaway video got 46,000 views.
I'm sure it did. But here's videos all the time. You're doing it again. All you have to do right now, bruh, is tell us what your views are about liberals. Because all you do
is relinquish control of the conversation. Now, you done told everybody that I can't stand liberals, and I haven't verified it.
Did not say that shit.
Okay, hey, all right, Del, let him speak. Let him speak it. Go.
I have spoken. Many people know how I feel about liberals. Now, if you don't, you can easily Google Dominque Craig videos on Facebook. And I have one called Black People, the Liberals Are Not Your Friend.
Yeah.
Watch that video. That's how I feel about liberals. But I don't feel the need to pontificate down on anybody here today.
Solomon Jones, who is a national columnist, okay, in many, many newspapers, websites. He's a legitimate journalist, columnist named Solomon Jones. He's an African-American man. This is what he says. Like many African-Americans, I'm a lifelong Democrat. But today, as we approach the all-important midterm elections, I have a nagging question for my party. Why should black folks vote Democrat? It is a serious question, one that deserves more than the knee-jerk response that Democrats don't publicly refer to us using racist rhetoric. That's not good enough. Nor is it good enough for Democrats to decry the effects of systematic racism without lifting a finger to change it. At a time when racists are embodied by a president or embroiled by a president who was endorsed by the KKK, black Americans face real danger. So while we are glad to see former President Barack Obama campaign for the party in Philadelphia this week, we'd rather see Democrats produce the kind of tangible legislation wins like the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Acts. In short, Democrats can't can't produce real change for black people. It's time for us to start looking at other alternatives in the voting booth. To prevent that, the party must take action on the following fronts. Protect the vote, he talks about. Protest police killings of unarmed blacks. I've grown increasingly frustrated watching Democrats pat themselves on the back for running to airports to challenge Donald Trump's travel ban. That's because I've never seen Democrats run en masse to the scene when police have killed an unarmed black person. I've seldom seen Democrats firmly denounce the violence that's visited upon black folks by those whose salaries we pay. I've seldom seen Democrats do much to make clear that they don't support brutality in any community in this nation. Now that's just a piece of what he said. So in terms of what we're talking about here, we're talking about a bigger picture.
Name an author there. I'm sorry, so I'm gonna write it down.
Solomon Jones. Solomon Jones.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I follow him.
Yeah, Solomon Jones. So it's a bigger issue than during Malcolm X's time. The issue was more focused on his idea, Martin Luther King Jr.'s idea, the Kennedys' idea, these ideas. But today in 2018, it's transformed itself into sort of a brainwashing. I'm going to be a Democrat because everybody in my world is a Democrat, but they don't research what the Democrat Party has not done for them over the last 50 years.
They don't research the roots. They don't research the roots. Nathan Bedford Forrest, who founded the Ku Klux Klan, was a Democrat. John Wilkes Booth, who assassinated President Lincoln, was a Democrat. The Ku Klux Klan was founded as the military arm of the Democrats to take back the gains of Reconstruction from black people. The Democrats are the party of slavery. When they reached the point where they could no longer deny black people the vote. They couldn't deny them the vote. So they said, the new strategy is we have to enslave them to the vote. We have to make sure that if they vote, they only vote for Democrats. So they pulled out their Klansman president, Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Yes.
Who was a Klansman. They pulled this guy out. And he sold the biggest bag of goods to black people.
Welfare, baby! Turn the Great Society into a welfare state. Democrat Robert Byrd. Democrat Robert Byrd. Democrat Robert Byrd's funeral. Democrat Robert Byrd's funeral. Up front and straight up front. Straight up front. Biden, Clinton, and yes, Obama. Straight up front.
And Bernie Sanders was there too.
KKK Grand Wizard served 53 years in the office as a Democrat. And who's there? Obama, a black man, paying homage to a KKK member. Now what kind of hypocrisy is that?
Is it my turn to talk here? Because I'm going to be very simple with this.
Yes.
Okay.
One of the things that distresses me in 2018 is I've actually seen it for the last, maybe 3 years, how conservatives have tried to twist history to their own benefit. And I am not going to talk about how silly it was what you guys just talked about with the KKK and the Democrats. I'm not going to talk about that. Anybody that wants to understand actual history, because I'm not going to waste time on here with some people that are propagandists. You know where to hit me. Yeah, you know where to hit me. What I am going to say is this from the original comment that was made here, because it is propagandist. Now, if 100 years ago, I would have been a Republican.
Me too.
But we don't live in 100 years ago. So, but I'm not going to go into that twist. Today is 2018, not 1918. So I'm not going to go into your tag that you put onto a party. Instead of what you should be doing is putting the people that support the ideas of what that party did or does at that particular time. I'm not going to go in there because it's simple-minded. I'm sorry, wait a minute, it's still my time. It's still my time. It's still my time. because I don't want propaganda. I'm going to give you guys real talk here. Black people are unique in this country. We have a unique situation in this country because we came from a position of zero. Not just zero, negative zero. Which means that every point of our fight has been to get to equality. Every point of our fight from slavery has to get to equality. Which means you don't have any off-brand fuckers talking about, oh, I don't like this and I don't like the other thing. It was one unified voice from day one. So, that being said, if you was a slave and the Republican Party was the one talking about, we're not going to make you a slave no more, who do you think that they're going to vote for? Because we're not doing no friend school, vouchers, welfare shit. We're trying to be free. We're trying to just not get our asses whipped as slaves. It's a basic concept. And that law was for every black American in slavery. So of course we voted for the Republican Party in the day. It was the good guys. But when you ended Reconstruction and left us to get our asses whipped by the KKK in the South, I'm still talking.
We're going to get back to that.
Of course we are. It's when you as a party in Reconstruction, let me repeat it again. That was Hayes who ended Reconstruction. He was the one who took out federal troops from the South. He was the one said, y'all are on your own now. He was the one who did it. He was a Republican that we voted for. And he left us to get our asses whipped for 70 years. I'm not calling the Republican Party at that point a racist, but they just said, you're on your own. We overwhelmingly voted for Republicans at that point. We didn't start voting for Democrats until Herbert Hoover, with his lily white policy that systematically went back. He didn't just say forget black folks. He tried to remove every advancement that we had made from that time. We didn't start voting for Democrats until somebody showed us some respect. FDR, who was a big racist. Let me just give you some numbers and I'll end it at this point here. Black folks overwhelmingly voted for Herbert Hoover in his first term. FDR beat him, but FDR only received 21% of the vote because he had that D behind his name. After the Great Recession and the New Deal was put into play, he actively went out and seek out black people in this country and put him in the cabinet. Not really him, his wife, to be truthfully honest. To put him in the cabinet. He went out and tried to make black people part of the country. He went out and did that. So his second term, he got 72% of the vote. Third term, 74% of the vote. My point being is this. Black people don't vote for the banana in the tailpipe. We vote for policy. We vote for something that's going to happen. And let me end it here because I know Mr. Jesse T is a big COPE member here. Let me give you a hint, brother, and I want you to listen to this. If Donald Trump tomorrow, I want you to listen. Legislation for criminal justice reform and did an urban infrastructure job training deal in the community, in black communities, he would get 75% of the black vote.
Well, here's the problem.
And I would be one of the ones that for him.
I
would be one of the ones that voted for him.
Okay, well, I'm just going to address that last portion. I'm going to address that last portion real quickly here, and one other item, because look at the reason why Donald Trump is not getting a lot of these things done is because he's been obstructed by the Democratic Party. Okay? Yes, he is.
He owns everything.
Let him yell. Go ahead. Keep yelling, my friend. When you're done yelling.
Okay. Because he's doing it right now.
Okay. He's doing everything that he possibly can, but he keeps getting resisted. So what he's allowed to accomplish, he's accomplished a lot. In fact, he's accomplished more than any president has done since FDR and the executive order, okay, of World War II, when FDR really just wanted to be king for life. The only thing that stopped him, that he died right after the meeting at Yalta. I mean, he died. Right there, he got sick, pneumonia, because of his polio and whatnot. But the point is being right there. FDR was an anti-Semite too. He didn't like Jewish people either. He didn't like it. But here's the issue. Here's the issue about Trump. If the country would just let the guy do what he's doing and not fight him. I'm not saying turn your back and don't look, be a watchdog, but don't fight every little thing, because you see, the Democratic Party of today is just a Democratic Party that's self-righteous, self-centered, egotistical, and just wants, like Diane Frankenstein, she's worth $89 million. Okay? I mean these guys, and it's the Republicans too. They walk out. No. And if they would allow, did you know that Trump, for the first time ever in the history of land management of the reservations all around this country, the first time ever, he appointed an administrator that is an indigenous American. The first one ever. He's doing things. He's doing things to try to make things better, but everybody fights him because they just don't like him. And I propose the reason why a lot of minorities don't like him, and African Americans, is because he's white.
Now then, wait a minute. Now, Jesse, now, I had to check Dale when he spoke for all black people, so I'm going to also have to check you when you speak for all minorities, especially because there are a lot of people who you would describe as minorities who support Trump. There are a lot of black people who support Trump.
All right, I retract that statement. I retract it.
Let's talk about black people for 1 second here, right? Our communities have been overwhelmingly impacted by illegal immigration, have been destroyed by sanctuary cities. We don't know these people who are coming here. Some of them are criminals, some of them are gangsters, some of them commit crimes. We don't know.
I just want to get checked out right.
Wait a minute now. Trump, he says no more open borders, no more sanctuary cities. Okay? We don't know how many illegal aliens vote in elections. We don't know. But I tell you what, there's got to be a reason that they're all trying to get legislation passed so that they can vote.
Hey, bro, back up. Back up from the camera, Dominic. Back up to you. Yeah.
So they can all get driver's licenses. Okay? The point I'm trying to make, I can't speak for any single ethnic group. And there are people of all ethnicities who support what Donald Trump is doing, especially black men, because we have witnessed the destruction, the degeneration of our black communities to the point where there are no more black communities. And we are no longer willing to support the policies that are the driving force behind the destruction of our own communities.
Dale?
Everything Dominic just said behind hello is bullshit. And let me make you understand why what you're saying here is the same way that I talk about white grievance, and that's where Donald Trump has come is while he's in office. It's the same thing that Dominic is saying right now. Our plight is not illegal aliens. Our plight is not anybody that comes over here and does some things that we have every right as an American to do. I'm a fifth generation black American. There is nothing that those illegal aliens, or whatever you want to call them, have rights for that I don't have rights for. To me, and I have to bust it out a little bit, that's on us. It's a black community. We don't think like that. We don't think business-wise. We don't think improving our community. We are waiting for the white man to come and improve our community when we should be doing it ourselves.
And why is that?
So, well, that's a long conversation, Jess. We don't have time for it right now. But partly it's because as our unique status, we have not had really the opportunity to learn that particular American game. When Mexicans come over, they are already an indigenous people. They have their own culture, their own language, their own country. They have their own religion. They have their own thing. So they already know how to get down. So when they come over to America, they come right in and do what they was already doing anyway, and use the American system to do it, which is the greatest system in the world. Black folks, we don't have that. We've never had that. Is one of the things, and not to go back to Malcolm X for a second, one of the things that I love about Malcolm X is that in the Muslim movement, and then you can call them Muslims whatever you want. You can say whatever they want. The one thing that they preached in the 50s and 60s was sense of self, who you are. You are not an animal. You are not a slave. You are not subhuman. This is where you come from in life. You are a king. You are a brilliant black man that's lost in this system. To give black folks a sense of who they are, to make them responsible for their own direction. This is why I love Malcolm X. But we don't have that. Black folks don't have that. We are still 90% worker bees. Because
everybody's a 90%. Let me throw that up. Everybody's a 90. Every single living soul that's not part of the aristocratic class is a worker bee. Yes, we are. We're all enslaved. Every single one of us. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. You pay taxes, you're enslaved. You go to work, you're enslaved. You work for somebody, you're enslaved. You're enslaved. You don't pay your taxes, you get incarcerated. It's that simple. Okay, so now you can't make that statement. Okay, slavery is running the whole gamut. So but
tell me I can't make that statement.
Well, when I say you can't make that, you can make any statement you want to make, but the statement has nothing of merit. It has not.
I said it's not valid.
It's not no merit. It's got no merit to it because we're all slaves.
Right.
We're all slaves. And the thing about Mexicans, not Central Americans, because it's a different cultures altogether. But Mexicans, when they come over here, they're taught in schools in Mexico, whatever education that they do get about America, that America is a democracy. A democracy. Okay. The teaching doesn't go much farther than that. All right? Why should it? They're living in Mexico. They learn about their country. All right? But when they come over here, they think of America as a democracy. Well, and this is, they've done surveys and studies of this over the years. When Mexican people were coming here illegally, and then somehow getting their legal status, the biggest group under Reagan was the last biggest group. They all, 90% of them, signed up as Democrats. Why? Because democracy and Democrats, it's the same word in Spanish. It's not much difference. And so they just did what they knew they should do. See, that's the difference. The difference is they have been brainwashed from the beginning. Okay? And so have everybody in this country. We all have. And when you break away from the norm and you break away from who is keeping you down, you realize that they're just doing it for themselves and using you to do it. And I think that's what the walkaway movement's about.
It's not a matter of people. Oh my God. I'm sorry, Dominic, it's your turn.
I'm gonna pass. You guys go on.
No, we're wrapping it up here. We're wrapping it up.
Let me retort, because this is the thing that kind of enrages me, is this notion that a particular party, by what they advocate or what they don't advocate or what they give you or what they don't give you, holds you down, is ridiculous to me. Hard work, wait a minute. Hard work and perseverance comes from a person, not from a party. Hard work and venturing out to do what you're going to do comes from a person, not from a party. If you honestly believe that because a small percentage, and it is a small percentage, of Americans get help from the system, that's what's killing the American spirit, you're crazy. Let me give you some numbers. Because let me ask you this. Dominic, what is the percentage of black folks that you think is on welfare?
I'm going to say 15 to 20%.
Wow, 27%.
Okay.
What is the percentage of white folks do you think is on welfare in America?
I'm going to say 30 to 40%.
No, they're less, 23%. But my point is this. If 23% of white folks are on this system that was actually created for them, it wasn't created for us, it was created for them by FDR.
No, it was created by LBJ.
No, it was not. It was expanded. It was expanded over LBJ.
Right. Let's keep going.
It was expanded in LBJ for the first time to include black people that might need some help. But
no, they just wanted to vote. That's all they wanted.
No. Jess, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that black folks, Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement, marched and died in the street for goddamn welfare? They marched.
No.
They marched. They marched and died. No, let me finish. They marched and died in the street for the Civil Rights Act.
Right.
The Voting Rights Act. That's what LBJ is.
No.
All that other crazy
No.
you're talking about the welfare state.
No, LBJ created a welfare state. He was from Texas, and he needed the South in order to win the next election. And when he realized that the Vietnam War was kicking his ass and he wasn't going to win the South, then he gave up and didn't rerun again. That's why.
Why he did it?
That's why he did it. It had nothing to. He didn't. He was the biggest racist. LBJ was the biggest racist in the world, man. And he didn't like anybody. He didn't like anybody. He just liked to be the president. And that's what that was creation.
Can I ask both of you guys a question? Can I ask both of you guys?
Yeah, we got to end it up here. So this is the last straw.
Do you think that the Civil Rights Act and the Voter Rights Act advanced black people in this country?
Yes.
Numerically, no, because we still own 0.5% of all the wealth in this country. And Democrats have been selling black people the illusion of progress for decades. Walk away.
So your answer, Dominic, is that the Civil Rights Act and the Voter Rights Act did not advance black people in this country?
My answer is no. My answer is we are not doing better now than we were doing in the 60s.
I didn't ask you that. And you actually are. But go ahead.
Well. Now my answer to that is yes. It did help African Americans, black people. It helped everybody, and it helped them. Absolutely right. But it's been twisted. It's been manipulated by this system, and that's for another conversation. To the degree that it's not being helpful, it's being harmful, and that's why. That's why we need a guy like Donald Trump in the office to shake up the system, baby. To shake up the system, and that's what he's doing.
We didn't even get to that today.
Last word, Del. Go for it.
polls all you want. You can do the walk away all you want. I look at actual feet on the ground. I look at a black man for the first time running for governor of Florida that's probably going to win. I look at a black woman in the state of Georgia that's probably going to win. I look at black folks that mobilized to put Doug Jones, a Democrat, in the White House, in the Senate for the first time in 35 years. I watched black folks vote at 97% in Virginia for a Democratic Party to put that guy in that governor in that seat, and then flip that state seat, and then expand Medicare for people that look like me and Dominic. All this walk-away thing, sorry guys, you can play your game all you want. I'm looking at the feet on the ground.
D. Craig.
You used up most of my time.
D. Craig.
More black politicians does not mean more change. It means less. It means less because most black politicians are Al Sharpton. Most of them don't give a damn about you. I don't care if you put a black Democrat out there. We had a black Democratic president and he did shizzle for us.
Last word right here on the Jesse T Show, the real stories every Thursday. We'll be back up with you next Thursday here on Facebook.com/Jesse Terrero, Instagram Live at Jesse Terrero, and YouTube channel Jesse Terrero as we beam this out and broadcast it out, podcasting now when the show ends. And I will say this, in my lifetime, that I can reflect on, which is 58 years in my lifetime. It is the most violent times that I've seen in my lifetime, especially as an adult across this nation. And for whatever reasons, it is happening, and we've got to stop it. And this race baiting, and this hatred, and this violence, and this finger pointing, and this greed, and these self-centered politicians on both sides of the party, the Democrats and the Republicans, both sides of the criminality,